So I asked myself, do my ragamuffins remember that a dividend divided by a divisor equals a quotient? The divisor, of course, can tell us either the number of groups or it can tell us the number of items in each group. In today's lesson, the divisor will first show us the number of groups. And in the second method, which is called partial quotients, the divisor is going to tell us how many items there are in each one. Okay, let's get to it. The question begins asking us to find the value of each quotient. And I'm supposed to explain or show. Seeing as I'm going to use a model, we'll just be showing. The dividend is 60 and the divisor is 4. 4 is either going to tell me the number of groups, or it's going to tell me the number in each group. Let's start off with 4 showing us the number of groups. With a dividend of 60 and 4 groups, I'm going to begin by giving 10 items to each group, 30 and 40. In that I started with 60 and I passed out 40, I know I have 20 items left. Well, if I gave 10 to each one, that would get me to 40 again, so I'm going to go with another 5. 5, 10, 15, and 20. That's it. I've passed out all 60 items, and I have 10 plus 5 giving me 15. So if I were to declare a variable b, b would be equal to 15. Another way I can do this is to use the partial quotients method. My divisor is 4 and my dividend is 60. Well, 4 times what is going to give me 60? Well, I don't know exactly. So I do know that 4 times 10 is 40, so I can record the number of groups of 4 right over here. And then I will simply find the difference of 40 from 60. That leaves 20. I know that I have to pass out groups of 4. Well, if I have 5 groups of 4, that's going to give me exactly 20, and I've passed everything out. Over on the right, I have the number of groups of 4. If I simply find the sum of those two, that's going to give me a sum of 15. My quotient goes right up here, and there it is, 15 items. Part B has a dividend of 96 and a divisor of 6. So I know I have 6 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have a total of 96 things. And so I'm just going to go ahead and start with 10. It's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. If I begin with 96, and I have passed out 60 of them, that leaves 36. Well, I remember 36 and 6 with my times tables, that's 6. So I'm just going to pass out 6 into each. I hope you guys can see how knowing your multiplication facts really speeds this up. Now I have to find out the total, and 10 plus 6 is 16 in each of them. My answer is 16. The second method of doing it with the partial quotients, I have 96 as my dividend and 6 as my divisor. And I know that 6 times 10 is going to give me 60, so I'll go 10 groups here. That will leave a difference of 36. And as I showed you before, pretend you're surprised here. 36, 6 groups of 6 is going to give me exactly 36. And I have zeroed it out. When I get the sum of the partial quotients, I get a total of 16, which means that 96 divided by 6 equals 16. Problem 2. Noah has 117 building blocks, and he builds a shape with 25 of them. he puts the rest of the blocks in 4 bins, and they have the same number of blocks in each bin. So you probably realize this is a two-part problem. First of all, I have to figure out how many blocks he put into equal groups of 4. So step 1 is going to be to find out how many were left. So I have 117, and I have to subtract 25. When I do that subtraction, I'm going to zoom in for you here. When I do that subtraction, I have 2, and then from 11, I've got 11 tens basically. I know it's 101 10, but that's basically 11 tens minus 2 tens. That leaves 92. So I have 92 blocks that I have to place into, how many groups did I have? How many groups did I have? 4 bins, okay? So over to the side, I'm going to simply make 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have to place 96 of them. My dividend is 96. I'm going to go 20, 40, 60, 80. 96 minus 80 is going to be 16. And I have to place 4 groups. So that's 4, 4, 4, and 4, making 16. If I get the sum in each of those, I have a sum of 24. So that's what the answer to my question is. The first part of it was how many blocks are, the first part of it, sorry, is how many did he put into groups of 4? And then I needed to find out how many blocks are in each bin. In order to do that, I divided it into 4 groups, and then I added up how many there were in each, giving me a total of 24 blocks. Using the partial quotients method, I have 96 as my dividend and 4 as my divisor. And if I go ahead and put 20 groups of 4, that's going to leave 16. And then if I have 4 more groups of 4, that will exactly zero out my problem. And I can tell that 20 plus 4 is going to be 24. The answer to my question, my quotient, is 24 blocks. What I think is interesting about this is when I changed the role that the divisor was playing, the unit on my quotient was different. If I had the number of groups as my divisor, then my quotient would be how many were in each of those groups. The second method, when I used the partial quotients method, the divisor was how many items there were in each group. In that case, I was finding out how many groups. It doesn't really matter which way you use. I just want you to understand that we're talking about equal group situations, and by changing the role of the divisor, you change the type of unit that you use on your quotient. Hope that helped. Bye.
I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything.